Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and do a really quick recording here with the Need King B and the Zoom F6. And what I want to do is to explain what the Zoom F6 does, because it's actually kind of a unique device. But also, again, wanted to showcase the Need King B. It's $99. This is, in my opinion, a really great sounding microphone. Okay, but let's talk about this new device that I wanted to talk about, which is the Zoom F6. And I want to talk about what makes this really, really a game changer. In many ways, I think this is actually a little bit overkill for voiceover. You don't need this, but I think it's really, really amazing for someone who is, many different people. So I think if you're someone who does video, this is godsend. If you're in a situation where you only have one chance to make a recording and to make it right, you can use this. If you need to, but let's go into the nitty gritty of what this does. Okay, the Zoom F6, it has something called 32-bit float recording. So I know people are going to be like, well, we already have 32-bit float recording, but not from a hardware. So what this does is you can effectively yell as loud as you can, and you will never, ever, ever, ever clip the audio. And it's not a limiter. You see, a limiter, what that does is actually it will stop you from getting loud as you want, but it negatively affects your audio. This isn't that. This, because it's 32-bit float recording, handles such a huge dynamic range. You can basically put this in an explosion or with gunshots, with a car engine going off in the background, and it will pick it up with perfect audio quality. In fact, what's really, really eerie about it is when you get the audio, it's going to look like it's completely clipped. And then you bring it into the audio, your DAW, and you shrink it down, and it's perfect audio quality. So that's the first thing that's actually really awesome about this. The second thing that's awesome is, so I'm just going to put this down for a second, just to put it down. But let me explain it with my hands. You ever find sometimes that you record something really, 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 really quiet, and then when you try to amplify it in post, you get a lot of that hiss? It doesn't matter what sort of audio interface you're using. You can use a Babyface Pro, an Audient ID4. You can use the best audio interfaces in the world right now. But what happens is, when you take something this quiet and you amplify it in post, you're going to get a lot of the preamp noise, no matter what happens. What is unique about this device here, sorry, I'm flexing, but I really want to talk about how special this thing is. You can amplify a whisper and you will get no hiss whatsoever, which is insane because that's what 32-bit float recording does. The best way I can explain what 32-bit float recording is it's sort of like, you know how images in Photoshop, you take an image, you take a picture and you expand it and you enhance it. Eventually it gets blurrier and blurrier and larger. But you know how like in Adobe Illustrator, you take an image and you make it larger and larger and larger. And because it's a vector image, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be a perfect image. Or think of raw images, right? That's what they call it. Raw images, no matter how much you bring it up in post, it's always going to be like perfect, crisp quality. And this essentially is 32-bit float recording is essentially that. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and do a demonstration. I'm going to yell at the top of my lungs. And I'm going to try to clip this out. And what I'm going to show you guys is you can't. It's impossible. All right, so, okay. Before I go on further, I'm going to explain to you what this means. Number one, you never have to touch your gain knob ever again. You never have to go from left to right, left to right, left to right. You never have to do that anymore. Number two, you can never clip out your audio. Number three, you will never fuck up a recording. If you have one chance to do it right, you just put this on the Zoom F6 or anything with 32-bit float recording. It's going to be perfect audio no matter what you do. Number four, you can take something as quiet as a whisper and amplify it in post. You never have to worry about it. What does this mean in English? It means you don't need to touch your gain knob, okay? Number 2, it means you can clip out and yell as loud as you want, and you will never, ever, ever, ever clip out your audio. Number 3, you don't need to use compression anymore. Number 4, you don't really necessarily need a preamp, because this is better than most preamps in the sense that it basically, it can take anything this quiet, amplify it. That's what a preamp does. It takes something quiet and expands it, and you get no distortion, right? Now, okay, what I do have to mention is that the preamps, well, the reason why people want preamps is that they color the sound. They make it really sound nice and flattering. But anyway, let's get right to it, okay? I'm gonna show it again, you guys, how it looks like here. Make sure everything's all good. You see how it's going. And now I'm gonna yell as loud as I can, and into this this whole recording again was from the Neat King Bee mic. What I also do want to mention too is I kind of said it in there. It had a little pop filter. Don't use it. Just use this. It does make a difference. Okay. All right. So let's start some yelling lines, shall we? And let's go from there. Cover your ears. It's gonna get really, really loud. Okay. Yelling 1, 2, 3. I cannot. I repeat. I cannot. No. What was I gonna say? I can't clip out the audio. Testing. Okay. So that should normally clip, but it can't. And that's what the Zoom F6 is. So I hope I kind of demonstrated what the Neat King Bee mic sounds like and looks like, as well as the capabilities of the Zoom F6. So that's all I wanted to say. Okay, bye.